What if I told you that the Earth itself is alive, pulsating with an unseen energy that ancient cultures have known about for thousands of years? What if there were invisible pathways that stretch across the globe, connecting sacred sites, monuments, and temples in ways that defy conventional understanding? These are not just myths or fanciful tales, but the deeply rooted secrets of ley lines, an enigmatic force that has been both revered and misunderstood. You've probably heard whispers about ley lines before. Some say they are lines of energy that run across the planet, channeling mystical forces that can influence the human mind and spirit. Others dismiss them as mere coincidence, a myth born from overactive imaginations and half-forgotten legends. But what if everything you've been told so far is only a fraction of the truth? In this video, we will delve deep into the hidden world of ley lines, the forgotten wisdom that ancient civilizations possessed about the Earth's energy grid, and how modern science may be on the brink of rediscovering what was once lost. Are these lines mere geographical curiosities, or is there a deeper, spiritual connection woven into the very fabric of our planet? Join me as we unravel the mystery of ley lines, exploring their historical roots, their esoteric significance, and their practical applications, revealing what no one has told you about these ancient paths of power. But be warned, this journey is not for the faint of heart. We will explore hidden truths, challenge mainstream beliefs, and awaken a sense of wonder that has been dormant for centuries. By the end of this video, you may look at the Earth, and your place within it, in a way you've never imagined before. So, stay with me as we open the door to one of the most profound mysteries of our time. To truly grasp the significance of ley lines, we must journey back, not decades or even centuries, but millennia. Long before the industrial age, long before the scientific method, there were those who lived in harmony with the rhythms of the Earth. They didn't merely observe the natural world, they listened to it, felt it, moved with it, and in doing so, they discovered something few today can comprehend, that the Earth is not just a rock floating through space, but a living organism, laced with currents of energy, intention, and spirit. These ancient people, from the builders of Stonehenge in England to the architects of the Great Pyramids of Giza, constructed their sacred monuments with uncanny precision along specific alignments. Alignments that, across thousands of miles, appear far too exact to be dismissed as coincidence. These alignments, known now as ley lines, form a mysterious grid, a planetary network that some believe channels spiritual energy across the Earth, much like the meridians of the human body in Chinese medicine. The term ley lines was coined in 1921 by Alfred Watkins, an English antiquarian who noticed that many ancient sites, churches, mounds, standing stones, and prehistoric roads, seemed to fall into straight lines across the landscape. But this wasn't a new discovery. Watkins had simply reawakened a truth long buried beneath layers of modern skepticism. In Chinese geomancy, this network is known as the dragon lines. In Aboriginal traditions, they are referred to as song lines, invisible paths across the land, walked by ancestral beings and encoded with spiritual knowledge. The Inca had the Sikhs radiating out from their capital at Cusco, ritual pathways that also aligned with sacred locations. Across the globe, cultures that never communicated somehow came to the same conclusion: there are invisible forces flowing through the Earth, and they matter. So how did this knowledge vanish? How did something so significant become relegated to the realm of pseudoscience and fantasy? The answer lies in a deliberate shift in human consciousness. As Western civilization moved toward rationalism and materialism, what could not be weighed or measured was deemed irrelevant. The age of reason cast a long shadow over the mysteries of the earth. Ancient wisdom was labeled primitive. Sacred geometry became superstition. And so the ley lines, once revered, were forgotten. But some would say this forgetting was not an accident, it was a veiling. Because to truly understand ley lines is to understand power. The power to connect with Earth's frequencies. To influence consciousness. To transform perception and even reality itself. Knowledge like this isn't merely lost, it is hidden, guarded, waiting for those ready to seek it out. Philosophically, ley lines invite us to reconsider our relationship with the world. What if geography is not just physical, but energetic? What if mountains and rivers are not only topographical features, but nodal points of spiritual force? What if every sacred site, every ancient temple, was placed not randomly, but with divine precision, tuned to the earth like notes in a cosmic symphony? This is the lens through which we must now view ley lines, not merely as curious alignments, but as conduits of consciousness. They are reminders that the earth is alive, aware, and deeply interwoven with our human experience. As we step further into this mystery, we'll uncover the mechanics of how these lines function, why ancient builders oriented their structures toward them, and how you can begin to sense and even interact with these ancient pathways of power. To understand ley lines not just as theory but as living, breathing phenomena, we must move beyond the physical and into the energetic. Imagine for a moment that the earth is not just solid ground beneath your feet, but a vast, conscious being, its body etched with invisible currents of force, like rivers of light coursing beneath the soil and stone. These currents are what we call ley lines. But ley lines are more than just straight lines drawn on a map. They are harmonics, frequencies, tensions and releases in the energetic skin of the earth. And just like the strings of a harp, they vibrate, some subtly, some with intensity, resonating with the vibrations of both the cosmos and the human spirit. Let's begin with the geometry. One of the most compelling aspects of ley lines is how they align across enormous distances with sacred architecture, cathedrals, dolmens, burial mounds, temples, obelisks, and ancient ceremonial grounds. Take the Michael and Mary line in England, for instance. It weaves through Glastonbury Tor, Avebury, and St. Michael's Mount, each location pulsing with history, myth, and mystery. These are not arbitrary sites. They were chosen, built, and aligned with an awareness of the energy flowing beneath them. In fact, many ancient sites are built at what we call nodes, places where multiple ley lines intersect. These nodes are potent. Think of them as Earth's chakras. Just as the human body has energy centers, so too does the planet. And just as acupuncture needles stimulate healing by tapping into meridian points, ancient monuments were erected to interact with these energetic nexuses. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Ley lines seem to interact with human consciousness. Sensitive individuals often report feelings of euphoria, clarity, or spiritual awakening when visiting sacred sites along ley lines. This isn't mere romanticism, it's an echo of something real. Certain frequencies have the power to alter brainwave patterns, opening the doors of perception, deepening meditation, and enhancing intuition. Consider the pyramids of Giza. They are not just aligned with the stars above, but also with ley lines below. Could it be that the ancients were engineering not just structures, but energetic amplifiers? Temples tuned like instruments to harmonize with the Earth's own vibrational field? Now, let's talk resonance. In physics, resonance occurs when one object vibrating at a certain frequency causes another to vibrate sympathetically. If the Earth is constantly vibrating, as seismologists and mystics alike confirm, then ley lines could be the conduits of this resonance. They may carry information, intention, or consciousness across vast distances, connecting not only place to place, but mind to mind. This opens the door to a provocative idea. What if ley lines are a form of communication? Not just between locations, but between dimensions? Between the seen and the unseen? Between humanity and something greater, perhaps even the planet's own consciousness? The great philosopher Plato once wrote of the Earth as a living creature with a soul. Indigenous traditions speak of Mother Earth as an entity, not an object. If we accept this as more than metaphor, then ley lines could be her nervous system, sensory pathways through which she experiences herself, and through which we, too, might learn to feel her. This would explain why so many rituals, pilgrimages, and ceremonies were held at specific sites along these lines. Our ancestors weren't guessing, they were participating. Harmonizing. Listening. They understood that the Earth is not just beneath us, but within us, and the ley lines are the threads that bind. And yet, as we trace these luminous paths across maps and landscapes, a question still hangs in the air. Why were they placed where they were? How were they discovered? And what happens when modern development disturbs or ignores them? In the next section, we'll dive deeper into these mysteries. We'll explore hidden meanings encoded in the grid itself, expose myths and misinterpretations, and reveal how ancient cultures might have mapped these lines without satellites or modern tools. The rabbit hole goes much deeper than most dare to imagine. If ley lines truly form a global web of energy, deliberately mapped and activated by ancient minds, then the question becomes, how did they know? Without satellites, without advanced measuring devices, how did our ancestors chart the Earth with such uncanny precision? The answer lies not in technology, but in consciousness. Ancient cultures viewed the world through a lens vastly different from ours. Where we see physical terrain, they saw spiritual geography. Where we perceive empty space, they sensed energetic flow. They were attuned to the subtle, trained to listen to the whispers of the earth, to feel the pull of power beneath their feet. Through ritual, meditation, and communion with the land, they mapped these invisible pathways by intuition as much as by sight. Many of these civilizations left us clues. Take the Nazca lines of Peru, giant geoglyphs etched into the earth, only fully visible from the sky. They defy logic if viewed through a modern lens of utility. But if understood as markers, giant acupuncture points within the Earth's meridian system, they begin to make sense. Some align with known ley lines. Others hint at forgotten ones. In China, the practice of feng shui, far from being a mere interior design fad, was originally a geomantic science. Masters of feng shui would seek out dragon veins, the energetic equivalents of ley lines, to determine where temples and tombs should be placed to maximize spiritual power. The concept wasn't decorative, it was cosmic architecture. There are also ley lines that intersect with celestial alignments, suggesting that these lines are not merely earthbound. They may function as bridges between terrestrial and celestial energies, anchoring star patterns into the ground. This is particularly evident at sites like Machu Picchu or Angkor Wat, where the layout mirrors constellations in the sky. Now let's address a common misconception, that ley lines are exclusively positive or healing. While many lines seem to radiate high-frequency energy conducive to spiritual awakening or clarity, others are more intense, disruptive even. Just as electricity can illuminate a city or destroy it, the energy of ley lines is not inherently good or bad. It simply is. It amplifies. It resonates. It mirrors the energy of those who engage with it. This is why some sacred sites can feel blissful while others feel overwhelming or even haunting. It all depends on the alignment, the purpose of the node, and the consciousness you bring into it. Ley lines are not passive, they interact. And therein lies their greatest mystery. There's also a fascinating overlap with paranormal activity. Areas with dense ley line intersections, sometimes called power spots or vortexes, often report an increased incidence of UFO sightings, ghost encounters, and spontaneous spiritual experiences. Are these merely anomalies, or is it possible that ley lines thin the veil between worlds? Could these energetic grids be portals, not just for energy, but for information, or even beings? In more recent times, attempts have been made to scientifically validate ley lines through dowsing, magnetometry, and even satellite imagery. While mainstream science remains skeptical, patterns continue to emerge. Magnetic anomalies, changes in plant growth, and even disruptions in radio waves have all been recorded along known ley paths. So, is this ancient knowledge finally surfacing again, rising through the cracks of a world starved for meaning? There is a growing belief among modern mystics, spiritual practitioners, and even certain scientists that ley lines are reawakening. That as human consciousness expands, so too does our sensitivity to the Earth's energetic web. That we are entering an age where the old knowledge is being remembered, not learned anew, but recalled, as if from a dream we are slowly waking from. And here lies the paradox. The more advanced our technology becomes, the more we are drawn back to ancient truths. Perhaps the real map to understanding ley lines doesn't lie in digital coordinates, but in the inner compass, intuition, awareness, reverence. Because ultimately, ley lines do not belong to maps. They belong to mystery. They speak not just to the intellect, but to the soul. And now that we've explored their depths, let us turn inward. Let us walk these lines not just across the earth, but within ourselves. In the next section, I'll guide you into real-world practices to connect with this energy, to feel the pulse of the planet, and perhaps, to remember what your ancestors already knew. Now that we've uncovered the ancient wisdom and energetic complexity of ley lines, you might be wondering, what can I do with this knowledge? This isn't just theory to be admired from a distance, it's a living truth meant to be felt, practiced, and embodied. The ley lines are not only beneath your feet, they are within you. And by learning to work with them, you begin to synchronize with the deeper rhythms of the earth. Let's start with sensing. The first step to engaging with ley lines is tuning into your own energy field. You are, after all, a walking conduit of electrical and vibrational frequencies. Your body is designed to perceive subtle energy, through your skin, your breath, your intuition. Find a quiet natural space, ideally near a known ley line intersection or a place that feels sacred to you. It could be a hilltop, a grove, a circle of stones, or even a quiet park. Stand still. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. And simply listen. Not with your ears, but with your entire being. You may feel a tingling in your hands or feet, a pull in a certain direction, a sudden shift in thought or mood. These are the Earth's signals. Don't try to analyze, just observe. For those more attuned, dowsing rods or pendulums can be used to detect energetic currents. But the most powerful tool is awareness itself. With practice, you'll begin to notice how your body responds to different landscapes, how certain places seem to expand your consciousness, while others leave you feeling drained. This is the dance of resonance between you and the earth. Next, let's talk about amplification. Once you've located a ley line or power spot, you can use it to deepen your meditations, rituals, or manifestations. Try this grounding ritual. Sit or stand barefoot on the earth. Visualize a golden thread running from your root chakra down into the ground, linking you to the ley line below. Feel its current rising to meet you, like water drawn up through a tree. Let it fill you with clarity and strength. Breathe slowly and allow your heartbeat to synchronize with the Earth's pulse. Energetic alignment. Lie down with your spine parallel to the ley line, if known. Visualize energy flowing up and down your body, cleansing, balancing, recharging. You are not separate from this current, you are part of it. Your intentions, dreams, and even your healing can be carried along it like a message sent across the earth. Ritual marking. Use natural objects, stones, sticks, crystals, to mark small circles or spirals along points where you feel strong energy. These act as temporary altars or energy anchors, helping you tap into the current more easily. Speak your prayers, leave an offering, or simply give thanks. These acts of reverence magnify your connection. And what about urban environments? The beauty of ley lines is that they exist everywhere. Even in cities, there are places where the veil is thinner: cathedrals, old cemeteries, crossroads, sacred groves preserved in concrete. Pay attention to the places where time seems to pause, where creativity flows, or where silence becomes loud. These are modern energy nodes, often built on ancient foundations. But be cautious. Working with ley lines is not a game. These energies amplify what is present within you. If you bring chaos, you may feel disoriented. If you bring clarity, you'll be uplifted. The key is intention. Approach with humility, and the ley lines will respond. Approach with arrogance, and they may ignore, or overwhelm, you. Finally, remember this: your body is a map. Your intuition is a compass. The ley lines are not only in the land, they are in your dreams, your spine, your spirit. The earth is alive, yes, but so are you. And the more you awaken, the clearer the path becomes. As we close this journey into the hidden world of ley lines, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the earth is not simply a collection of rocks, soil, and water. It is a vast, interconnected web of energy, alive, pulsating, and constantly in motion. The ley lines are the arteries of this living planet, carrying vibrations and frequencies that have been woven into the fabric of the earth for eons. What we've uncovered is more than just an esoteric curiosity. Ley lines speak to something fundamental within us, the desire to reconnect with the ancient rhythms, to find harmony with a planet that has long been a silent partner in our existence. They are not mere geographical oddities, but gateways to understanding a deeper truth about the world and ourselves. Throughout this exploration, we've peeled back the layers of history, philosophy, and hidden knowledge. We've seen how ancient cultures once navigated the energies of the earth with precision and reverence. We've explored the subtle connections between consciousness, energy, and the landscape. And we've practiced ways to tap into these forces, opening ourselves to their transformative potential. But the journey doesn't end here. The truth about ley lines is far from fully revealed. It lives in the spaces between the visible and invisible, in the moments of quiet awareness, in the intuitive understanding that we are not separate from the earth, but deeply intertwined with it. The more you connect with these energies, the more you may uncover about your own potential, your own power to shape your life and perception. As we part ways today, I leave you with this question. What would happen if you truly began to trust the currents of the earth? If you stopped viewing yourself as a passive observer and started to engage as an active participant in the living, breathing grid of energy around you? Your connection to ley lines, to the earth's energetic web, is waiting to be discovered, not in books or maps, but in your own body and spirit. Step out into the world. Walk the lines. Feel the pull of the earth beneath your feet. And who knows, maybe the next time you walk across a forgotten landscape, you'll feel that ancient hum of energy and realize, you are not just walking the earth. You are walking with it. Thank you for joining me on this mystical journey. If you're ready to dive deeper into the mysteries of the earth and the hidden realms of consciousness, I invite you to explore further. Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What have you experienced with the ley lines in your life? How has your connection to the earth shifted since we've uncovered these secrets? Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep exploring. The earth has many more secrets to reveal.